your attorney can have a strategy even for that. So this is, don't shoot yourself in the leg with just going, like, filing straightforwardly.
Talking about strategy, I recall and how big brands protect their intellectual property. I recall one case which is very interesting. Do you know why Apple holds the intellectual property which is worth $300 billion in Ireland? That's an American company, and the entire intellectual property, well, most of it, is in Ireland, owned by their subsidiary in Ireland, purchased by it. Here's the hint. They love money. They really love money. A very common strategy 10 years ago, it was valid. It's not valid right now, where you held your intellectual property in some tax paradise, for example, in Bermuda.
Okay.
And this company from Bermuda, they rented your intellectual property to your companies around the globe, around the world. And those companies paid you. So the company in Bermuda had zero taxes. And those companies, they paid for the intellectual property and they had this as their expenses. And even though they were your subsidiaries, they still needed to pay for intellectual property. And this company just collected insane amounts of money, paid zero taxes, everything was great. But then 10 years ago, this changed completely. And even before this, there were like ways to use this strategy. It was not illegal, but many tax offices around the globe, they were against it. So 10 years ago, the strategy became, well, almost impossible to use. There were like ways to still use it, and some companies still used it because they had special agreements with some governments. But a new strategy came in Ireland. You can deduct the amount of purchased assets from your profits.
Okay.
So let's say you need to purchase some assets for your business, for example, a factory, or let's say new machinery. You can purchase it and deduct this amount from your profits. And it's perfectly legal, perfectly fine. But there is a loophole. Because you guessed it, right? Intellectual property, those are intangible assets, but assets nonetheless. You can purchase them. And what Apple did, they created a subsidiary in Ireland, and this subsidiary purchased $300 billion worth of assets, intellectual property assets, from the Bermuda company, and it was transferred to them. And they deducted this amount from their income and future incomes as well. So they had this huge chunk of money, basically tax-free.